every person, I think, need ethical. I think leaders, or religious leaders, or business leaders, I think every team, in spite of different sort of name or different profession, but still human being. So everyone, you see, one happy life, successful life, like a turtle, and perhaps mosquito. Also, I think, they turtle, some kind of mammal. Now, the mother lay down the egg, then leave. So the offspring of the turtle, they themselves manage to survive. So their survival not depend on the mother. Therefore, by nature, I don't think, you see, if mother and their offspring put together, I don't think they have the capacity to show affection to each other. Because by nature, no need. The rest of the sentient being who need for their survival on others' affection. In that case, this body, this element, biologically, I think produces a kind of emotion which you call affection, then comes. Because need others' help. Right. So therefore, we all, every human being, really, in our life, I think the affection, each other, sense of community. How to develop sense of community? Again, affection. Sense of community by law, limited, difficult. So therefore, I think the ethics is the question of survival of entire humanity, or even survival of this whole universe. I think affection is very important. Next.
How does one deal with an emotional crisis in the face of a dilemma between one's self-interest versus a sense of what is ethically correct?
That's quite complicated. Now I think we need to tackle look case to case. Some self-interest. I think with reasonable sort of self-interest, then I think much more easier to find answer. But extreme self-interest, against moral ethics, as I mentioned before, exploit on other like that, and then the problem always remains there. There is no way to overcome that problem because of the very motivation itself wrong. Motivation itself is the source of the problem. Therefore, so long that motivation is carried, the problem, limitless problem, will come. So I think this is the case, right? Case to case.
How to deal with, how shall we deal with anger and unkind usage of languages?
Lungda. Anger at different levels, and also due to different motivation. Some anger out of sense of concern. That kind of anger is not necessarily destructive. Right? I think good parent or good teacher, or few occasions In my own case, my tutor showing bad face, right? Bad face and little, oh, perhaps I think some of you may not know, when I can study, when I was young, my tutor always kept weeks. When I first used to study, my elder brother and myself used to as a two student, I tutored. So 2 whips there. One whip is yellow. So that suppose the holy whip, which one yellow, suppose meant for holy person. But still, it's the same whip. If that used, it's the same earth. No holy paint. Holy paint, right? And similarly, fear also, you see, no holy fear. Same way. So therefore, they might tutors a little bit sort of angry because of that attitude. Purely out of sense of concern. That's very positive. Sometimes necessary. Then, of course, the harsh word also same. Out of sense of concern, and under the circumstances, harsh word may stop their wrongdoing. Then harsh word is positive. So these are, you see, we cannot follow that. But these are, you see, depend on many other factors. And also, I think the fear or suspicion, doubt, always is positive and negative. Fear, just you see, I think they consider, out of imagination. That is silly, as I mentioned earlier. Childhood is a fear in dark room, something that's just really childish. That's not unnecessary. But then mad dog is approaching and fear and trying to run away. That fear is very good. That fear, you see, brings adequate sort of action. So I think these negative emotions, I think they are emotional action. I think complex. So it should depend on other factors, like that. But then basically, as I mentioned earlier, the affectionate attitude, compassionate attitude, that's something like immune system. Your body healthier, or your emotion now healthier. So some disturbances, some anger, or jealousy, or like that. You see, the negative emotion, usually destructive emotion, comes. The strength much weaker. So I think basically our basic attitude is to keep, according to my experience, like that. Yes.
How can ethical values be compromised with cruelty which occurred through biological and evolutionary components?
Now here we have to make distinction. Action and actor. Action is concerned, wrongdoings, action is concerned, we have to oppose. We have to stop. But we have to work to stop that. We have to against or oppose. But the actor side, without losing sense of concern or respect, that can be done. And that's the proper way. Compassion, not the action, but the person. So, action is concerned, sometimes we have to take countermeasure. This one. So, next question.
whom do you think is more successful? A person with ethics but no power or money, and a person with power and money but no ethics?
그래서 네. 그러니까 그게 아니세요. 그게 아니세요. Successful. Again, I think it's difficult to generalize. Again, it depends on much circumstances. But as an individual person, more thinking more wisely, then the person more ethical, without power and money, that person much happier. There's no doubt. Power, a person who has great power, wealthier, in deep insight, very often can be very unhappy person. I also have some friend in America and also Europe. I think the billionaire, very rich, and as a result, they also quite influential. But as a person, very unhappy person. Yeah. Other hand, some of these innocent people, poor, I think generally speaking, the innocent people in the village, this side, maybe, I think less jealousy, right? Less jealousy. Maybe less hatred. In a higher position, maybe more experience of jealousy, more experience of hatred, like that. That's my impression, but I don't know. Then next question.
While all the religious sermons is same, then why is there so many religious beliefs?
Major religious tradition. I put word major. Some of the local, traditional belief, something worship, nature or like that, which have no philosophical sort of concept. So the major religion means those religions such as different Hinduism and Buddhism, Jainism and Christianity and Muslim and parts Zoroastrian and also Judaism. They have their own literature and their own philosophical concept, like the concept of God, concept of Allah or Trinity, and different. And many different Hinduism is a concept of moksha. So now in that group, right, there are two parts for each tradition, two parts. One religious side, one concept of philosophical side. So in the religious side, as I mentioned before, Christianity or Muslim, all the talks importance of love, compassion, like that. And also faith. All major religious traditions, same, common practice. Then the philosophical field, there is big differences. Firstly, usually I usually call this kind godly religion, that means theistic religion. Then godless religion, non-theistic. Like Sangha, one very ancient Indian thought, Sangha philosophy, with one portion of Sangha philosophy, no concept of God, no creator. Then Jainism, also you see, no concept of creator. then Buddhism, no concept of creator. So godless religion. Then within the Buddhism, different sort of, concept, philosophical concept. For example, mind only school, or Chittamatra, or the other Madhyamika philosophy, different, big differences. So now the question is, why we need these different philosophies. We really need a different approach according different person or different mental disposition. Even within the Buddhist, even within the follower of Buddha Shakyamuni, there are different mental dispositions. There are different mental dispositions. Therefore, Buddha taught different philosophy. With my respect to Buddha, sometimes I little jokingly telling the people, different contradictory Buddhist philosophy taught by one person, that's Buddha Shakyamuni, is certainly not out of Buddha's own confusion. Certainly not. Or Buddha taught, nor Buddha taught these different contradictory philosophy in order to create more confusion among his followers. No, certainly not. Buddha, from Buddhist viewpoint, I am Buddhist. I truly believe Buddha enlightened. So he knows, the mental disposition of individual. So certain Buddhist, the certain philosophical viewpoint simply not fit, not suitable, therefore not effective. Therefore he taught accordingly, different philosophy accordingly. So now that's important. So now to some people, the concept of creator is so powerful, so important. So with that concept, their behavior, practice of compassion, practice of tolerance, practice of service to others, becoming more active. Therefore, to such people, the concept of God is so important. Then some other people, there is no creator, but everything depends on your own behavior. All responsibility remains within your own shoulders. So you do good, you will face good result. You do bad, you get mischievous sort of, miserable result. So that way of approach, that's the Buddhist way of approach, is more suitable, more effective. Like that. So, whether we like it or not, already there are different philosophies, different concepts, already last 2,000 to 3,000 years, particularly in this country, Bharat, I think wonderful country. I think last at least around 3,000 years. This country, it happened. You see, people who really think, investigate what is the causes of whole universe. What's I? So non-Buddhist of ancient Indian thought, you see, finally concluded there is Atma. The Buddha say, out of investigation, no Atma, but Anatma. Like that. So you see different So you see different philosophy, different concepts already there. Now important is what is the purpose of these different concepts? Then same answer. Help serve variety of humanity. Therefore, we need variety of approach, variety of religion. Next question.
When you go out serving other people, sometimes they don't become happy. What shall we do then?
Continue. With sincere motivation, not seeking fame or reward. Continue. Then other people eventually will appreciate. I think that's important. I think one small example, of course, maybe it's a silly example. When I passing through the car, particularly in the West, I usually say smile towards everybody. So sometimes my sort of sincere smile brings suspicion to some people. Smile. Why is this person smiling at me like that? But that particular case, sometimes I was turned my face, okay, no problem. Sometimes, next occasion, then I, without smile, ignore them, okay, no problem. But basically, I continue to see the smile, showing my, I think showing some kind of the sign of brotherhood, sisterhood. That's a smile, isn't it? I think genuine smile, not an artificial smile, diplomatic smile, sarcastic smile. Perhaps a businessman also, or magician also may have some peculiar, some different sort of smile, maybe. One my friend, a great scientist, the scientist of fishery, cosmetic. See, he categorized, I think, more than 100. No.
The facial expert.
So he knows it's a different smile. Like that.
Next question. How do you define ethics?
Define ethics. I think, firstly, flower. No sense of consciousness, right? Of course, they also have life. So, because they have some life, so we can say some kind of the ethics, maybe, but that's not important. But now, like the different mammals, we not only life, but also the consciousness, right? Mind or cognitive power and emotion. So emotion, like the sword, right?
Double-edged sword.
Emotion, without emotion, lifeless. Life with emotion, much better. If we remain like robot. Meaningless, isn't it? So, it's much better, happier, little sad, like that. Better. In any case, is it that kind of emotion already there, whether we like it or not. So now the emotion, as I mentioned earlier, the two sides, destructive side, positive side, constructive side. So any view or any action which reduce destructive side, that's ethics. I feel like that.
What will be the fate of Tibetan people?
Correct. Now long story. I think almost whole my life story, right? I don't know how to say, how to explain. I'm still in this country as the longest guest of Indian government. Why? Still there is problem. Now the aspect of Tibetan problem, of course, human rights problem of religious freedom, and also the problem of real serious threat of diminishing Tibetan culture, including Tibetan language, because of overwhelmed Chinese population, Chinese immigration rate. For example, Lhasa, our capital, the population around 300,000. Out of 300,000, 200,000 are Chinese. So most of shops, restaurants, all owned by Chinese. Tibetan very few. Firstly, they are more hardworking, and secondly, they have official backing. So as a result, the people in the town, in their daily life, they have to speak Chinese rather than Tibetan. Tibetan language become useless. So serious threat of elimination of Tibetan culture with that Tibetan Buddhism. In monastery, firstly, very restricted sort of control, and then the monk have to go political education. So those political education quite childish. You see, one point is they have to against the Dalai Lama. That's childish. Like that, and they compel, you see, to they have to study to accept the Chinese official pendulum, like that. So these are name of education, but will never go in deep insight, like that. So they usually I describe whether intentionally or unintentionally some kind of cultural genocide is taking place. Clear. And demographic, one reason, demographic movement. That demographic aggression is very serious. So in that case, the Chinese constitution, the constitution of people from China, provided the right of autonomy to all ethnic groups of people, like Tibetan, or the major ethnic groups like Tibetan, Uyghur, and Mongolian, and some, I think two more other have the status of autonomous region. But in real sense, now in Mongolia, autonomous Mongolian, inner Mongolian autonomy. Now today, Mongolian population according 4-5 million. The Chinese population in Inner Mongolia more than 18 million. No future, no hope. So Xinjiang, when establishment of the autonomy, then very small population, Chinese. I think according to some information, 5% or 6%, like that. Now today, more than 50% or majority are now Chinese. Still, the large number of Chinese immigrate to Xinjiang, Uyghur Autonomous Region, in the name of Western development, right? Development of the Western China. So now same situation or same fate are also now coming to Tibet. So that's why we are trying to fight to sustain, to get to materialize meaningful autonomy. Otherwise, once the land of snow, snowland, become the truly home of Han Chinese, then autonomy is meaningless. And then another aspect is environment. Now, after railway link established, now some Chinese engineer now talking the diversion, like Brahmaputra and Ganges and perhaps Sindhi, these major rivers, usually it's 1,000 years, coming this side, now turn to north, so that like Gobi desert eventually can be cultivated area, and also large area in Xinjiang and also in Tibet, in Mongolia. So some Chinese engineer are talking that. So, of course, if that happened, then Bihar, they usually see a lot of flood, and also Bangladesh and Kolkata itself, I think a lot of flood, isn't it? During monsoon. I think that in a way will reduce. But at the same time, like water crisis, drinking water, or water for farms, tremendous sort of difficulties. And whole ecology, whole south and north, the Himalaya, then completely changed. So these are very, very serious. There may be the technological sort of technology and also money there, but after all, we are part of the nature. If you accept this, if you believe God, the God creates a certain sort of certain position, certain situation. So change that, lot of complications. So the Tibet issue, one cultural aspect, one environment issue, and then third, Tibet in the past, like Baba state. As a result, the whole northern India safe. I think before 1950, I think hardly no soldier, whole border. After 50, the thousands Indian soldiers have to station in this long border with immense expensive one because of high altitude and difficult road. And also to spend a lot of money for making road like that because of the new situation. Of course, local people, sometimes they got I think much benefit, like Ladakhis and also Manba and also Sikkim. I think because of large establishment of Indian soldier, Indian army, so a lot of trucks, a lot of bulldozers, so they got immense benefit. If northern border still almost like no man's land, then today I think this area may be more backward because there is no military establishment, so no bulldozer, is no trucks like that. So I think as a result of new situation in Tibet, this border area, in economic field, some benefit. But overall, India's economy, I think immense, effect. And because of that, that threat, the other borders also sometimes be more complicated. So therefore, the good relation between India and China is very, very necessary, because two most populated nations. So genuine friendship on the basis of mutual trust between India and China is not only interest for India and China alone, but also whole Asia and even whole world. Therefore, in order to develop genuine friendship on the basis of mutual trust, Tibet issue some way involved. So long Tibet remained difficult, the Chinese government compelled to put large number of soldiers. Result, the border area, some are today, in spite, big smile, and deep inside, little difficulties still there. So Tibet, once it become truly, one of my dreams is Tibet eventually should be zone of peace, and possibly demilitarized, remain within the people of China. Then, I think the relation between India and China truly become Hindi Chini bye-bye. I think that's it.
The next question. Don't you think that some religious education should be made compulsory in schools?
Correct.
Religious education should be made compulsory in schools.
This point, I have the view, education better more secular basis. Compulsory religious study, I don't know, sometimes more complications. After all, religion, particularly like India, multi-religious, multicultural, I think in school, every children, every family, regardless what they believe. So education is something society or the nation, religion for individual. So I think religious education, I think, should be separate. That's my belief. But of course, up to you. Whatever you want to do, that's your right. Last question, maybe. The last two questions.
What is your view on abortion?
Abortion. As a Buddhist monk, abortion look as an individual life, right? Individual case. Abortion is bad. Abortion is act of killing, right? Bad. So that I think should avoid. But meantime, population control, right? Birth control, or sometimes it's a nice word, family plan. Actually, birth control. So as birth control is concerned, as an individual case, better to have another human life, precious human life. But now today, the reality is over 6 billion human beings. Already too many, too much. Imagine, India, China combined more than 2 billion. Their living standard, morally speaking also, practically also, politically, or in various viewpoints, I think living standard must also that. Lift up. This gap, rich and poor, on global level, is totally wrong. Not only morally wrong, but practically also source of problem. Within the nation, even in Calcutta, millionaires, very rich family or company, right? Right. Rich people, meantime, people in the slum, right? Very poor people. This is also a problem. And morally also, certainly wrong. Now we have to change that. Not sometimes, not the way sometimes in Cultural Revolution or the in communist system in China, everybody become equal. So that means the richer family made poor, and poor still remain poor. That's the not right. But so therefore, the equality means the poorer people, poorer section of the people, their living standard must live it up. Then the over 2 billions of human beings, their life standard is lifted to the Western nations enjoy. Then each family, 1 or 2 cars. There's more than 2 billion cars. Imagine. I think lot of problems. Ecologically, also lot of problems. So therefore, the birth control is very essential for interest of entire 6 billion human beings' interest. So for that reason, birth control is very necessary. Then usually sometimes I jokingly telling people the best birth control, non-violent way of best birth control is you first be monk. Then those ladies should be nun. That's the birth control, non-violent way. That also not necessarily interest for humanity. Humanity needs generations, right? Generation to generation. I think at least so long is the solar system workable, I think better to human beings remain on this planet. Although we are the most troublemaker species of mammal. But however, we also have the potential to create infinite altruism. So that species of mammal who have the ability to practice, to create infinite altruism, is better to live, better to survive. So for that reason, of course, everybody become monk and nun. That also not good. So there should be fathers, mothers, like that. Or father, grandfather, or grandparent, or parent, or grandchildren, like that. So birth control, proper birth control, non-violent way is highly necessary. Thank you. Finished.
Of the Peace Tree Foundation in Canada, we would like to present to His Holiness a children's film, The Peace Tree, directed by Ms. Mitra Sen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, in future, an occasion so designed.
I end this very interesting session with a short quote of Swami Vivekananda. This life is short. The vanities of the world are transient, but they alone live who live for others. The rest are more dead than alive. Thank you. I would request our audience to please keep seated till His Holiness leaves the auditorium. Thank you.
চলো শিশির দাও